Well, good morning to y'all. It's I, Grandpa Peter Coyote, coming to you once again from here from the Magic Bus in Crestone, Colorado, where we always have a rockin' good time, whether we're sitting here in solitude or surrounded by friends. Doesn't seem to make much difference. Life is always rockin' and rollin' for us, 'cause we know some of the secrets of living. And you know, I've just kind of made this assumption that everybody's coming to live that way or knows it. And then I realized that not many people do really get the cosmic joke. I mean, the reality of what we're living here, why we're doing it, where we're at, who we are, what this is all about. I mean, these are answers to some pretty deep questions, you know. But I gotta tell you, this life is filled with coyote medicine, heyoka as others would call it. You know, the irony, the satire in life. And there is humor in it, great humor, no matter how serious you've become about it. Oh God, some of us can get sucked down some holes, can't we? I mean, Jesus. One moment you're there, the next moment you're gone, man. You're down there in the pit of depression, and you're, what the hell happened here? 'Cause dealing with this life, you know, it hurts a lot. We're here, in part, to understand feeling, to experience feeling we've never known before, to crawl down into the darkness and see how deep we can go. And God, we've done a lot of that, you know, throughout the history of the generations. And it goes on a lot further than what we've been told the history does. Way back. Creating an experience for us that in each lifetime we come to find a remedy for, you know, a cure for what just happened in that last one, or the thousandth one back, you know, however far back it goes. We're coming here to journey, adventure, test ourselves. See what truthfully our heart is made out of. But what you don't know and what you don't seem to get, just yet anyway, we're in it for a reason and purpose, of course. But throughout the whole thing, we are the most loving and joyful people ever created. It's the secret irony in life. No matter what we're going through, babies, we're loving it. There's a part of us that's awake and alive and understands every moment of your experience, our experience, what we're doing as human beings, what we're living here in our feeling place, and knows why you're doing it, and, you know, automatically forgives every bit of it, whether it's you doing something to somebody else or them doing it to you or whatever. It's done right there in that moment. It's all finished. There's no judgment. It's experience that we're creating here. Experience for our soul, our divine heart. Do you know how much of this world in which we live is a shadow box? A hologram? Do you know how much of what goes on around us and inside of us, but around us especially, is there just to test our feelings, our ability to feel, and how far we can go, and to test our mettle, our strength of heart, to test responses, to understand responses, why we do what we do, to see where we'll go with the darkest and the lightest of things, and whether we'll get lost in either one of them or somewhere in between, and to experience that lostness so that you can be found again. You know, you get in the pit to get out of it, to experience what it's like down there in the pit, man. Shoot. You can't just let it be there. You got to know what it is. You see it, you go into it. You go diving down, and that's where you be. Getting that experience. And finding your way back out again. That's what this trip is all about. That's what this journey is. And yeah, hell, it's kind of like a video game. Because there's no way, and I mean no way, that joyful beings could ever destroy a planet in the way that we have. And look at this mother and how we've kicked her ass callously, and her children's ass, just so as we can have a little comfort. Forgive me, I do get pissed. I get caught up in the game. It frustrates the hell out of me sometimes, you bet. But I'm still loving, I'm still caring. I still have my heart connection. I know that's just part of the test and part of what I'm going through. And learning how to creatively apply such quote negative emotions as anger in a loving way. Wow. Is there any anger in peace? Is there anything to be upset about? Then why do we choose to go through this experience? See, most anger is self-directed. Why don't I understand this situation? Why can't I deal with it? Why can't I fix it? Why can't I heal it? I know I have the power. I know I got the heart. I know I got the place. And it just pisses me off when I feel powerless. That kind of thing is what really goes on. And the more powerless you feel, the more angry you become, because you know in your heart you don't have to live this way. You don't have to be this way. That you could be surrounded by a lot more luxury too if that's what you felt like doing. That you do have the power to change things and rearrange things. But you've chosen to experience it this way so that you can feel the experience of anger, frustration, powerlessness, the helplessness of the baby child, crying and screaming because it needs its diaper changed and nobody seems to want to do it. You see how baby-ish we are and why I call us babies? We're very primitive here in this parameter in which we live. It's all about our feelings and our emotions that are a result of our feelings, not the cause of them. Quite the difference here, babies. It's another thing you got to understand. It's part of the irony here. We're like feeling and then expressing that in emotion. Sometimes suppressed emotion, because you can't be honest in this world. It's all a lie, it seems like, and you live on lies. I was talking to some friends the other day, and they're talking about all the nature of the relationships we've been through in our lives. But anyway, it came to one point in the conversation where it was blatantly stated, if you want to end a relationship, any relationship, all you got to do is be honest. And that's true. For most people anyway. There may be a few rare exceptions out there that can be that understanding. But not too many. Most of our personal relationships, we wonder why we have such difficulty there. They're built on a lie. There's friendship, there's kinship, there's identification, there's knowing, there's heart. And then there's truth, which involves all of those things and a whole lot more. But most people find this little comfort zone where the feelings are limited, the challenges aren't so testing, or you get used to the ones you're going through, and you want to stay there in it. Part of you wants to stick and not grow. And that's where the lies come from, comfort zones. Well, in a way, we're in a great big uncomfort zone that we've created ourselves as human beings, as spirit beings as well, for the purposes, again, of experiencing all this, finding the richness in the dumbest of things, and doing what you've come to do here, fulfilling yourself in your heart, stretching yourself to the utmost, testing yourself as far as you can stretch it, pushing yourself into places where you just never wanted to be, to see how much you can endure, how much you can take before you snap, or if you will snap. This is the life we're living. And this is what I'm here telling you from the heart. We know better than this. We live better than this. And there is no way in hell we would ever kick our Mother Earth's ass like this and fill her full of garbage and pollution and then try to manipulate her time and gravity and cause, well, anyway, all the awful things we do. I'm not going to go off on that dynamic. But do you realize that most of the moneyed capitalism you see around you, the rampant rape of the earth, isn't there? There's no way we'd do it. It's part of the illusion we've created for ourselves to live in, to come to understand ourselves a little deeper, to know how far our passions will carry us, to know how far we can stretch our goodness into badness and still survive, and come back out of that experience to the pinnacle of ecstasy. Because that's the springboard that launches us there. And you know, there's not another place in this universe like this Mother Earth where we live, this dynamic, this paradigm that we live in. Because of the darknesses here, because of the experiences here. Most races aren't even up to the challenge of it. But we've come here to create it and share it with all. And there is a universe, and there is a Mother Earth, of course, and there are human beings, of course. There's truth. Awakening is realizing the truth. And that's when a lot of what you see around you begins to dissolve from your vision. Awakening's just like waking up in the morning here. You've been sound asleep and you've been dreaming, and oftentimes you can't even remember the dreams you've been living in. But you will remember these that we're creating here, because it's valuable experience. There's good lessons in it. It's the Coyote's medicine. It's the cosmic joke. We love it here, especially when it's challenging. Our soul is tickled pink. Our heart is dancing across the sky when we're going through it. That's why these are such challenging times now as we are coming to the moment of awakening. The body's resisting. You don't want to come out of the dream. You value the experience. There's sentiment here. There's great growth. There's love being shared in the darkest of places. There's people that really give a shit and care for one another. And those that become so callous, they feel heartless and don't care about anything or anyone, not even themselves. But they've gone there for a reason and a purpose. To test themselves. How much deadness can you take? I mean, and then we awaken. Just like from a deep slumber. And as we do, the dream that we've been living in dissolves. And the person that we are awakens in his or her bed and begins their life anew, just like at the beginning of a day. After having lived through a long, but somehow pleasant nightmare. How do you live in nightmares and find pleasantry? Yet we've done it. On this earth, in this reality, in this heart in which we live. God, people, we are awesome. Look where we've been with it in the known history. Imagine where we've been with it in the unknown history. Yeah, nuclear destruction. All kinds of things has come this way, this planet. And babies, we know all of it. We remember every bit of the dream we've been dreaming and living in. We've gone into it. We've become the dream. We've given it our reality. And now we're simply taking it back. There's a timeline. You know, people sleep for 6-8 hours, whatever it is. There's a timeline. And when the old alarm clock goes off, we wake up. Well, the alarm's going off. But it's a very soft sound that you hear with your inner ears. And if you listen, you'll hear it right now. That's the wake-up call. Are you listening? Come to this Crestone intergalactic gathering and hippie fest that we're throwing here on June 28, 2012 in Crestone, Colorado. And let's help each other see. Let's gather our good hearts together and create some powerful energy that brings the healing we've been looking for. Changes all the situations. And do it in a joyful manner, with a joyful heart, understanding that this is real, not just imagining. This heart, this great truth. You that are human, come forward now, and let's gather and journey together. It's time. And for whatever the reason, which I'll explain later, Crestone is the place. It's got the healing power. We've given it such. It's very near the point of beginning, where we first entered this dream. And I'm speaking mystically, magically, as well as in the fixed reality in which we live. Come here this year and experience heaven in your heart, because that's who and what you are. And you can take my word for it. Grandpa Coyote says so. But you don't have to take my word for it. You live it in the heart. It's magic. It proves itself to you. Now, those of you that, live in far-off places, don't have much in the way of economic resources. Hell, I'm familiar with that one. Babies, just put your intention toward it. Buy the tickets, even if you're not coming. Let me know that you're doing that. Well, no. Anyway, buy the ticket. Set the intention. Well, don't buy the ticket, Whatever. Just set the intention. Because, if you're in some far-off place, there's no point in doing that. The reason why I suggest it is spending that money carries a commitment with it. You're telling yourself, that you're awake or awakening. You're telling yourself that you want to be awake, that your experience is valuable here, and now you want to come home and remember and be. So if you can approach it that way, then buy the ticket. And do let me know that you're doing it. God. So that I can, plan on another place for another person. We can't get too big with it. It's kind of small, this gathering. And we're going to keep it that way. Because there really aren't that many humans here on Earth in this paradigm, this parameter in which we live. But we'll find that out. It's not important that you believe anything like that or disbelieve it. The only thing's important that you stick with what you feel, in your heart, and act accordingly. And understand that your experience here when you're not doing that is just to help you to remember to do that. You go way out there so you can come way back. And when you come way back and you find this place and you live in it, baby, you stay centered. You stay there. Because you've had enough of that off the beaten path stuff. And you know what it's like. And while you can appreciate your experience there and every person in it, you can also appreciate and understand the value that it is to yourself and why you've created it and what it's doing for you. God, it's a beautiful thing. Come to Crestone, Colorado, United States of America. Put your intention to it. And magic things will happen for you. I'm basically doing this festival the same way. I've committed my heart to it because my heart was already committed to it long time ago. I just didn't know it. I woke up to that commitment. And while I don't have a lot in the ways of means, I've got resourcefulness. And I got a good heart. I make my mistakes. I fall down on the job. But I get back up and I dust myself off and I keep on going. And I'm happy even for the fall down, as much as it hurt. It was a good place to be for the moment. I needed some time out. Stuff like that, It all has a reason and a purpose. And it all makes perfect sense. An awakening, consciousness, planetary ascension, transformation, whatever you wish to call it, is just that. Just knowing that. Remember it. Letting go of the lie. Yeah, living an honest life. A very honest and real one. And feeling the joy, the peace that comes from such an understanding place. And then knowing that that's your heart. So bring it on here to Crestone, Colorado, June 28th, 2012, until the end of time. Though we were only planning for 3.5 days, we'll see how it goes from there. Life is a party. It's a trip. It's a journey. And it's worth it, no matter what you're going through now. And hell, if this old man can come through all the displeasures and pains that he's been through, you sure as hell can do what you got to do. Come back to the heart. Be in the presence of yourself. Do what it takes to get there. And don't take no for an answer. God, I love you, kiddos. You rock. Catch you real soon, babies. Grandpa Peter Coyote from Crestone, Colorado. Sending love and healing your way.